Welcome back to Thoughts from a Bookworm. I'm Abigail Grace. Today we are doing part 2 of The Brothers Hawthorne, which I had not planned on doing. When we talked about this book last time, I was very adamant in my not being a fan of Grayson, and I enjoyed Grayson in the first 2 books of the actual Inheritance Games trilogy. I did not like him in the Final Gambit, it was part of his character arc. He kind of goes up and then goes down and then comes back up again. Did not like him in the Final Gambit. So coming straight from the Final Gambit into the Brothers Hawthorne, where we have a split POV between Jameson and Grayson, I was leaning more toward Jameson. I have since read the Brothers Hawthorne again after putting a little bit more distance between the Final Gambit and the Brothers Hawthorne, and I have to say I actually really did enjoy Grayson's POV much better. I still am a diehard Avery and Jameson shipper. I don't think that Grayson and Avery belong together, but I actually very much enjoy Grayson now and would low-key date him if God dropped him in my lap. So in the episode I filmed previously where we talked about the Brothers Hawthorne, I primarily focused on Jameson. So today, obviously, we're going to be focusing primarily on Grayson. So Grayson's whole goal in this book is he has been checking in on his stepsisters because Sheffield Grayson has a wife and 2 daughters who are his step-siblings. He's kind of been keeping an eye on them, and he gets called to Phoenix, Arizona, where they are because Gigi, the younger of the 2 sisters, they're twins, got arrested for snooping around, moseying by a bank vault. She got arrested, so he kind of, bails her out. He just kind of comes into her life as this very mysterious man. Their dynamic right from the beginning is very funny. I was kind of worried for a split second because the way that Grayson was, interacting with her and treating her, if they weren't siblings, it would have been like, oh, hot, mysterious guy comes into this girl's life. It could have been weird. I think the author did a really good job setting up boundaries, from the beginning. Obviously, Grayson knows that they're siblings, but Gigi and Savannah do not. And Gigi even makes a comment one time of, I can't remember exactly what it is, but she says something about how she's not interested in Grayson or he's too old for her, something like that. So it's very clear. Like I said, the author did a good job setting up, almost from the get-go, that Grayson is aware of, don't make her think I'm interested in you romantically. He's trying to be protective of them, of the image that they have of their dad. He doesn't want them to know that Sheffield had an affair and that he's the result. He finds out fairly quickly that Savannah, the older twin, knows. She knows who Grayson is. She automatically doesn't like him. She almost blames her mother. I don't know if she blames her mother. There's a riff between her and her mom because she knows about the affair, which the mother did not know that she knew, so it's very, very messy. But Grayson and Gigi have the most interaction, and I thought their interactions together were so cute. I honestly loved it so much more reading through it a second time. So if you read through The Brothers Hawthorne and did not like either POV, I'd recommend reading it again because I totally had a change of heart. I was very anti Grayson's POV the first time I read it. I did not like it. I didn't like Gigi. She kind of grew on me. Savannah grew on me too. I really like Savannah. I have 2 brothers myself, and so a lot of the sibling dynamic between Grayson and Gigi, and even Grayson and Savannah sometimes, was very relatable and very realistic, so I really appreciated that. Grayson, he ends up being more involved in their life than he planned on because he doesn't want them to know, or when he finds out Savannah knows, he doesn't want Gigi to know who he is because he doesn't want her image of her dad to be ruined, but he's also trying to keep that whole family from finding out the role that he and Avery played in their father's death. Even though Sheffield was kind of the villain in kidnapping Avery and trying to kill her, Grayson covered up that their dad was murdered, basically. So he's treading very carefully, but he also knows that he's going to have to sabotage their attempts to find their dad. Gigi has a key to a safety deposit box. Grayson is able to get the key from her, take some pictures of it, and have a duplicate made, but he alters the duplicate so that it won't work. He swaps the keys out, and then when he goes with her to the vault, it comes out that Savannah has a key. Her key works. Gigi's confused why her key doesn't, but she doesn't really move on. They find in the safety deposit box, because that's what Grayson assumed, that the safety deposit box was going to have information on the bombing of the plane, trying to kidnap Avery, trying to go after Toby. That's kind of, Grayson assumed that there's going to be some kind of evidence in this box. So then when they open the box, It's a series of photographs of Grayson from the time he was born in the hospital to like 6 months ago. So, or not 6 months ago, because it's like a year later or something, but 6 months like before he died or whatever. Grayson's kind of surprised that Sheffield even kept tabs on him when he was very clear that he had no intention of being a father to him, of loving him. It makes sense to Savannah and their mom. Gigi's very confused. She figures it out very quickly. But she still wants to try and find her dad because she still assumes at this point that he's just missing. She doesn't know that he's dead. Even Savannah doesn't know that he's dead. So Grayson kind of like now having that he's their stepbrother, their half-brother, out in the open, he kind of continues to work with them, but looking for ways to secretly sabotage them. They end up getting a lead to Colin, who was basically Sheffield's son. Sheffield kind of took him from his sister, who was like a drug addict and had all these issues. They go to Sheffield's sister's house, where they find in Colin's old room this like puzzle box. I forget what they called it, but it's a box where you have to unlock a series of puzzles to get the box open. Grace, they work on it for a little while, but they're not able to get it opened. Grayson gets it. He takes it back to his hotel. He opens it and he finds that there's this leather book filled of journal entries of Sheffield, just kind of documenting like after Colin died, his anger. He watched the interview with Grayson and Avery when they kissed right after Avery first inherited, and it's got some incriminating evidence about him planting the bomb and that kind of stuff. So Grayson copies, and I do not know how he did this in one night, but he duplicates the notebook. He redoes the code. He cracks the code first to even read it, which is insane. He duplicates the code. He duplicates everything, but he leaves out like the last, 5 or 6 pages or whatever. Puts it back in the box, relocks it, and then just kind of waits for Savannah or Gigi to come. So Gigi comes. It kind of blows up in Grayson's face because he's kind of warming up to Gigi. He's being very, like in a wholesome way, very affectionate with her and stuff like that. And she swipes his phone from him and like takes a series of selfies on it. And then as she's looking through his photos, she sees a picture of this list of passwords that Grayson had given her earlier to try and break into her dad's computer, but the passwords are different. That is one thing that didn't really make sense to me, because he took a picture of a piece of paper, and I don't know how Gigi would recognize that. I don't know, she just seemed to realize really quickly that the passwords were different, unless they were radically different. I don't know. So she gets very upset at Grayson. She figures out that the box is fake, the notebook is fake. She just wants to know where her dad is. She angrily leaves the hotel. Grayson then, with everything as far as Avery's concerned safely buried, he's like, okay, he's kind of taking care of Avery, basically making sure that she's safe from, prying eyes and stuff like that. He goes back to Hawthorne House. Grayson, Jameson, Nash, and Xander all have a really sweet, they spend the night in the treehouse and they do all these crazy, drink or dare, goofy thing, very brotherly things. Grayson has a very raw moment with Nash that I thought was really good. Actually, he kind of has a raw moment with all of them that was just very sweet. Gigi actually comes to Hawthorne House. Grayson is surprised to see her because he thinks, oh my gosh, I blew it with her, she's never going to talk to me again. They have a very nice, reconciliation moment. Grayson does tell her what happened, and Gigi tells him, okay, that's fine, but we can't let Savannah know, because Savannah they both love their dad, but Gigi wants to protect Savannah. Previously, Savannah's always been the one that's protecting Gigi, but Gigi wants to take this opportunity to protect Savannah. So that's how it ends with Grayson's POV. Like I said, the first time I read it, I was very irritated with all of Grayson's POV. I didn't like it, at all. I did not care about Gigi or Savannah. Gigi really irritated me. She kind of was basically just a copy and paste of Xander, but somehow more annoying. I know Xander, everybody loves Xander. Xander kind of drove me crazy. But reading through it a second time, I appreciated Grayson on a new level, and because of that, I kind of warmed up to Gigi and Savannah. So that's where we're going to end today's episode. If you saw the first episode or the first part of Brothers Hawthorne, I'm glad you came back. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But that's where we're going to end today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss an episode.